Week 5 NFL Power Rankings. For those who don't know, who haven't been watching the channel, I do rankings every week on Tuesday right after the games. And I think I do a pretty dang good job at it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching, by the way. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't. If you don't mind, it helps me with the algorithm. But I always do 7 from the NFC, 7 from the AFC, even though that's not the way it should be lined up. There's clearly this year better teams in the NFC than the AFC as far as 6, 7, 8 in the conference go. Take my mug off the screen here and we'll show you the standings as they stand right now. So you've got Indy, Baltimore, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos. There's a lot of question marks up in the air in the AFC, and there's a lot of solid teams right there in the 6, 7, 8, 9 range for the NFC. Even San Francisco, who's ranked 12th according to strength of schedule at this point, quality of opponents and everything like that. So we're still in that point where things are still trying to clear themselves up. They're still a little bit murky, so it's not clear where things are going to go from here, but they'll start sorting themselves out in the next couple weeks. So even though it's going to look weird where I have, number 13 and 14 in the rankings, they probably don't deserve to be 13 and 14. I always put 7 from the AFC, 7 from the NFC in those rankings. That's just my fair way because that's how it's going to be in the playoffs. And I always start with my biggest riser and my farthest faller with the Ravens. They obviously had a huge statement win this week against the Bills. I really had the Bills, flying high, starting 3-0, and the Ravens were a little bit shaky starting the year off, but that was a huge statement win for them, a blowout, huge. So they raised 7 spots in the rankings. And the Jets, who I called a fraud to start the season, but then they started 2-1, and I had to put them up in the rankings. I put them too high, so this is really just my own fault for putting them too high. They lost to the Broncos, but the Broncos are looking tougher than maybe I thought they were. But the Jets I have falling 10 spots out of the playoff spots in the AFC, more appropriately where they'll be this week. So let's get right into the rankings and where they stand right now. At number 32, I've got the Jaguars. Obviously, they look like a hot mess. Now they're headed to London for 2 straight games. We'll see if they can get sorted out while they're in London. It's more like a home game for them. We'll see if they can pan it out there. At number 31, I've got the Panthers, who they look improved with the vet quarterback, with the red rifle. They need a few wins before I can climb them out of the gutter. So for now, I'm going to keep the Panthers right there at 31. At 30, I've got the Giants. They're staying competitive in every game. They just need a piece or two, a win or two, to really get things rolling and to get out of that 30 spot. I think they could, though. We'll just see what happens. 29, the Patriots are flashing potential. Really started off the season looking like their defense could carry them a little bit, but they look worse each week as they go along. So got the Patriots at 29. 28, I got the Browns. Their only wins again been against the Jaguars. I don't see a win in their schedule coming up, so I got at number 28, I got the Browns, and I think they might be on the wrong direction this season. 27, I've got the Dolphins. And it appears that they're going to have to trade for a quarterback soon, or their season's going to be wasted with a really talented roster. So the Dolphins might be stuck here for a little bit unless they can get some trade going. 26, the Titans with a big win last night that showed some of the issues that they have are with Will Levis. Mason Rudolph could string some things together with that defense, so it could look better for the Titans coming up. 25, I've got the Packers. Jordan Love is the 33rd least accurate quarterback and off-target quarterback again for the second straight year in a row. His horrible contract looks like it could send the Packers into the gutter for years to come. 24, I got the Cardinals. They started the season looking like they turned it around. Last couple weeks have looked the opposite. I have no idea what to expect from them. At 23, the Raiders are bipolar as well. I don't have any clue how to gauge that team. Their win over the Ravens and then a loss to the Panthers, so I have no clue how to grade the Raiders at 23. 22, the Broncos are a surprise team to me, and most had them as a candidate to be the worst team in the league and the destination for next year's number 1 pick, but they played really well in every game, and I think they might be competitive this year. 21, the Cowboys beat the Giants and the Browns and played the Ravens close, but that blowout to the Saints is still weighing on my opinion of them. This week's matchup with the Steelers will be telling on where this team is. So 21 is the Cowboys. 20, I've got the Rams. They had a huge comeback win versus the Niners, but then they got stymied by the Bears' elite defense. Up and down so far this year, but should be able to get back on track with an inferior Packers team that somehow is the favorite against them. I have no clue how they have. Sometimes the odds makers do weird things. 19, I've got the Jets. Their loss to the Broncos make me feel like the Jets could be frauds again. I explained that earlier, so I got the Jets at 19. 18, I got the Bengals, and they're probably ranked too high after their first and only win was close one to the Panthers. But I still think they're a fringe playoff team, so I've got to put them right here at 18. 17, I've got the Bears. They had a huge statement win against the Rams a week after the Rams upset the Niners. But again, a big defensive win. The offense got things rolling a little bit better with sorely needed help from DeAndre Swift and a run game that looked non-existent. Next few weeks' schedule is very favorable. They should be able to help the Bears get rolling. 16, the Saints lost a close one in the interdivision rival this week, and another team that flashed huge potential to start the season. Now they're struggling to find an identity as the year rolls along as well. 15, I've got the Seahawks. They finally had a playoff caliber opponent and actually proved me wrong as they competed really well. I left them firm at 15 despite the loss, which is where they should be as a fringe playoff team that probably is on the outs this year. We'll see. On to the playoffs. Now we go to the top 14, like I said earlier. The Colts and Chargers probably don't deserve to be in the top 14, but who else am I going to pick from the AFC with the NFC looking so strong so far? The Seahawks and Saints should probably be above the Colts and Chargers. But the Colts did have a statement win against the Steelers, and the Chargers did play the Chiefs tough, so here we are at 14-13. At 12, I've got the Commanders. They're clicking at the right time, and Jaden Daniels looks every bit NFL ready. At the play calling, the offense ready to support him. The Commanders could be scary as they keep rolling along. 11, I've got the Falcons. They kicked a last-second field goal to win against the Saints. Huge divisional win. At 10, I've got the Eagles. They lost big to the Bucs and earlier in the season to the Falcons, but should be able to get things right this week against the Browns. So we'll see if the Eagles are just slow to get started. At number 9, I've got the Steelers. They made a valiant effort in a comeback attempt against the Colts, but lost their perfect record in the end. Good test against the Cowboys this week to see if they really do belong in the top 10 still. At number 8, I got the Bills. They came back to earth after the beatdown they had from the Ravens, but really I think that showed more about the Ravens than the Bills. Big matchup this week against the Texans, though. That'll show a lot. Number 7, I've got the Buccaneers. They've stuck it to the Eagles, Lions, and Commanders this year, and their only losses to the Broncos. Go figure that. They look good, though, but it'll be tough to play in Atlanta this week. The winner will have divisional bragging rights. Number 6, I've got the Ravens. With a huge statement win against the Bills. Like I said, they were the ones who jumped the most this week. Week after getting things right by beating the Cowboys in Arlington, they went ahead and another big win. So they look better than their 2-2 record shows. Number 5, San Fran broke 2-week skid and put things back in order. Brock Purdy proved his talent isn't just his supporting cast, but he definitely wants to get his playmakers back sooner than later. Number 4, the Lions did just enough to outlast the Seahawks, but they get a bye week before a huge test on the road in Dallas against the Cowboys and then divisional rival Vikings. So big test coming up for them. Number 3, the Texans barely held off the Jaguars a week after getting slaughtered by the Vikings. I should probably have them lower than this, but I'm putting blind faith in them after last year. I'm not sold they deserve a top 3, let alone a top 10 spot yet, but we'll see. Number 2, the Vikings are definitely this year's sleeper team. They really annihilated the Packers, but took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter, up 4 scores. They won't let that mistake happen again, and appears to be a legitimate threat this year. 4-0, looks really good. And at number 1, the Chiefs continue to squeak out the close ones. Rashee Rice is a huge blow to them, but somehow this team continues to find ways and players to insert to keep winning. I can't knock them down from number 1 until they give me a reason to. So they stay at number 1, and that's Week 5's Power Rankings as it stands right now. So new videos will be out each Tuesday for Power Rankings, each Wednesday for weekly predictions. Give me your thoughts on which rankings I got wrong. You guys are always really good at giving me your thoughts. The Packers fans always get a little upset in here, but I really do believe the Packers are absolute frauds that will have a losing record this year. And there's a lot of teams that are improving, a lot of teams that are showing that they deserve the credit for doing their improvement. So appreciate you guys watching, though. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Try to put out some good content for you guys. And if you subscribe, hit that comments and the like button. It really helps the algorithm thingy to help me get growing. So I appreciate every one of you. Until next time, good luck to all your teams, and we'll see you next week.